I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Beyond the Fear podcast, the place where y'all come for motivation, inspiration, uplifting, and an overall positive word. I'm your host, DJ, and you know, was brought, today's episode was inspired by a post, and I know I did a video on it, but I wanted to expand it to a whole podcast because there was so much more that I wanted to say on the subject. But the post said that people miss opportunities because opportunities are dressed in overalls and look like work. And when I tell y'all that post resonated with me so much because that was me. Like if I ever needed a post to represent my teenage young adult life, my teenager young adult mentality, then that would have been it. Because there have been plenty of opportunities that I passed on because all I saw was the work. I didn't look at it as an opportunity. I didn't look at it as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to build, to get to where I want to be. You know what I'm saying? I didn't look at it as anything. I didn't look at it as an opportunity at all. All I saw was the work that I would have to do. And so, I was just like, that was going to be my answer. That was like my default answer automatically was just no, because I just didn't want to do the work, wasn't motivated, very lazy. So when I saw that post, it definitely resonated with me, but it also made me think deeper. It also made me think very um hard about the word opportunity, and and how much work goes into everything that we do. So for me, it wasn't even just about like a business opportunity or a new job. It's like everything we do is there's opportunities in everything. So even when I say opportunities, you got to understand I'm also looking at it from the standpoint of opportunities mean work. So there's opportunities to better your relationship, but what do you got to do to make that happen? You got to put in the work. There's opportunities to move up, get promotions, um just moving period to a new state with more opportunities. Again, more opportunities, that word pops up again, but it's just work, you know what I'm saying? So it just made me realize that I was just, for the longest time, I was just afraid of the work, you know what I'm saying? That was the main thing. I was afraid of the work, didn't want to do it, being lazy, being unmotivated. So that was the thing that scared me, was the work, you know what I'm saying? In a lot of situations, it wasn't the failure. It was really, literally just the work. So when I tell y'all, this post opened my eyes to just so much. And I was sitting there thinking yesterday about everything. And I'm like, man, I can't put everything I want to say into like a 1 or 2 minute, you know, clip. So it was like, well, why not just make that the podcast episode? Why not really just sit down and really expand and talk about it on the podcast? And so, that's just really what today's episode is about. It's just opportunities and work, you know what I'm saying? And just part of it's going to be about me talking about how I ran from it, but just overall, the idea of how people run away from opportunities because it looks too much like work. They don't see the potential. They don't even think about the potential, the growth, they don't even think about the positive things that could come with this new opportunity, the doors that this may open down the line for you. They just see the work, and then and that scares them off. And I'm not here to judge, because again, I was one of those people for most of my life. So there's no judgment here if that's who you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to also talk about, you can't run from everything because everything requires work. I don't care if you want to be happy. Happiness requires work. You don't just walk down the street and find happiness sitting on the side of the road. You know what I'm saying? You got to work for that, because I think that too many times, even when I say something to my friends like, "Oh, well, I hope you find happiness," and it's just like, I feel like that's putting the wrong image in people's heads. So from now on, I'm going to work to excuse me, I'm going to work to say, instead of saying I hope you find happiness, I'm gonna start saying I hope you start putting in the work to obtain happiness. You know what I'm saying? Because happiness is an inside job. Happiness, peace, all of these things that everybody says that they want starts with you. You know what I'm saying? It starts with you being happy with yourself, being happy with what you have, even though you may not have everything you want, but being happy with what you do have, being at peace with who you are, being at peace with understanding that everybody's not going to like you. People are going to have negative things to say about you for no reason. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand, you got to be okay with not being everybody's cup of tea. So it's a lot of work that goes into your happiness and your peace, and you got to put that work in. So you know what I'm saying. So that's my new thing that I'm going to say to people, instead of always saying I hope you find happiness. It's like I hope you put in the work to obtain the happiness that you're looking for, because everything starts in you. So it's already there. You know, you just got to start working out the things that you need to work out so that you can find happiness, because it's already in you, because it starts with you. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't start with money. It doesn't start with, you know, that person that you find attractive, the marriage, none of that stuff, because you can find people with money who are miserable. You can find plenty of married people who are miserable. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of people in this world, plenty of celebrities who have everything that they could have ever wanted, you know what I'm saying, as far as materialistic stuff, and are still miserable, because I think that we look for happiness on the outside. We look at we try to find happiness in other things, or in people, you know what I'm saying, instead of finding happiness where it truly is, and that's within us, you know what I'm saying? It's not in anybody else, it's not in our friends and our family, like I said, in our significant other. That's not where happiness is. Not true, not the core of true happiness. It starts with you. Now, all of these things can add to your happiness. All of these things can build on your happiness, but the foundation of your happiness has to start with you, just like the foundation of your peace has to start with you. And then, you know, your family can add to your peace, your friends can add to it, your significant other can add to it, but it has to start with you. But and also, that requires work. You know what I'm saying? It requires work. You're not going to obtain happiness. You're not going to obtain peace. You're not going to obtain a great relationship, whether it's a working relationship, a personal romantic relationship, whatever it is, marriage, all of these things require work. You know what I'm saying? Everything in life that you want is going to require you to work, to put in the work to make it happen. It's not just going to happen. Even if by some lucky circumstance you do just fall upon a perfect situation that's already, you know what I'm saying, that's just working, and you haven't put any work in to get it to a point to where it's working. At some point you're going to have to put work in to keep it working. So, you know what I'm saying? So to me, you can't keep running from the work, or you shouldn't keep running from the work, because the work is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? When I say the work, I just mean, you know, putting in the time, the energy, the effort into making something work and making something be successful, whether that's yourself, your relationship, your job, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The work is going to be there. The work is going to be everywhere, and everything that you touch and everything that you're trying to do and everything that you're trying to become. There's work in every single thing that you trying to do. So there is no point in trying to run from the work. You know what I'm saying? That is going to take to become the person that you are. And again, I'm not saying any of this as judgment. You know what I'm saying? As y'all already know, when I get on here, I'm more than willing to talk about my downfalls. I'm more than willing to talk about the times that I've failed. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear me talking about this, don't think I'm sitting here saying it with a judgmental tone. I'm saying it with an understanding of, I know that continuing to run from the work isn't going to do anything for you. I know you're not going to find success, long term success, doing that. Like I said, you might luck up on a few situations here and there that are already working, and you just adding yourself in. and you can find yourself some initial early success because everybody else has put in the work and you just found the opportune time to come in, and now you coming in and you know what I'm saying, and you seeing success. I understand that, but like I said, at some point in time you're going to have to at some point put in your pieces, and you know what I'm saying, you have to put in your part of the work to help keep it going, you know what I'm saying, because if you don't, then you're going to be the weak link and you're going to be up out of there. So you can't th- you can't run from the work forever. Understand that, because there are things that you're going to want. Just realistically speaking, there are going to be things that you're going to want. You're going to want a relationship at some point. A relationship requires work. A relationship requires communication, healthy communication. Healthy communication by itself requires work. You know what I'm saying? So there's always something that you can be working on to improve yourself or improve your relationships or improve your skills. You know what I'm saying? There's always improvement in your life that could be going on, but all of that requires work, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, for me, it was just that post really got me to thinking, and it really made me look at things from such a different perspective that it was really, I don't want to say blowing my mind, but it definitely was making me really think about, just my situation. And it was really making me think about how much work I was putting in to avoid work. And I feel like that was the crazy part. It was like I'm sitting here contemplating and scheming up ways to avoid work. And it's like if I would have just put that same thought power, that same work ethic into actually doing the work, who knows where I would be right now. But I was just putting it into the wrong things. I was putting so much energy and effort into not trying to put energy and effort into things that when I take a step back and I think about it, it's like it makes no sense whatsoever at all. It makes no sense whatsoever to um to do that much work to avoid doing work. But that was my life. Literally, that was my life. I'm going out of my way to try to find the easiest way to get my job done, to get through these 8 hours. I'm trying to find, who's not calling in, who is calling in, where can I go? Where can I go hide? Where can I, you know what I'm saying? Or if I see somebody, a supervisor or something, let me walk fast, make it look like there was just so many things that I used to do to try to make it seem like I was working a lot harder than what I really was. And it's just like, man, if I just would have put that same type of tenacity and that same type of energy and that same type of go get it attitude into actually doing the work that I needed to do, I would be so far ahead. But, everything happens for a reason, and I needed to go through all of these things that I've gone through to get to this point. And and I also put that on me being stubborn and me being hard-headed and not really being willing to listen to people, because it's not like people didn't tell me that. It's not like people didn't tell me that they saw greatness in me and that they saw a lot of great things in me, and or my ability to do great things. It's not like I wasn't told these things as a kid, and as a young adult I was told these things. I just didn't care. My whole mindset was, what can I get? How high can I go while doing the least amount of work? And that was just my mindset. That's what I focused on, was just how much can I get done, and how high can I go, and how far can I go with doing the least amount of work. And now that I'm older, now that I've been through some more things, and I can sit back and I'm no wonder I failed. It don't surprise me one bit. that I didn't see success and I didn't see any fortune or, anything. I didn't really get nothing up to this point. Very, I won't say nothing, but I got very little out of, my ventures because I put very little in, and so I do understand now that, success and making it, your dreams, all of these things require sacrifice. They require work and sacrifice. And so, and I was really willing to do neither, at least not to the level that I needed to. I was willing to work, but once the work got to a certain point, I was ready to give up. I was willing to give up certain things, sacrifice certain things, but once it required sacrificing of other things that I just was not willing to sacrifice, I just stopped doing it. And so that's why for me, I can completely understand because I used to have a damn why me mentality or what's the point? It's not going to work for me. It's going to work for other people, but it's not going to work for me. And the reason why it didn't work for me, and I mean, for me, it was always like, oh, the universe or God just don't want me to doing that. And it's just like, no, that's not the case. It's just I don't want to. I wasn't willing to go as far as other people were. I wasn't willing to work as hard as other people were willing to work. I wasn't willing to sacrifice as much as other people were willing to sacrifice. I wasn't willing to go as hard as other people were willing to go. And this is just me being, I can be honest now with myself because I was lying to myself back then and being delusional, like, oh, it's everyone else, or man, it's just their time, or, um, you know, life just, ain't fair or whatever, or I'm meant to just be stuck here doing this. And I, just telling myself all types of things, other things, telling myself everything except for, no, you're not working as hard as them. You're not trying as hard as them. You're not sacrificing as much as them. You don't want it nowhere near as much as them. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning, you might want the ideal just as much as they want the idea, but when it's time to execute, you're not executing like them. You're not putting in the time that they putting in. You're not sacrificing what they sacrificing. You're not going as hard as they're going. You're not willing to work 2, 3 jobs just to make their dreams happen. You know what I'm saying? And it was one of those things where deep down I knew. So even when people would tell their stories, like you would watch an interview with somebody, going from that rags to riches story, and you would hear about yeah, I was working 2, 3 jobs. Take my even closer to home, my mom, you know what I'm saying? Hearing about my mom, watching my mom work 2, 3 jobs to make sure me and my brother had it was just like for the longest time, I don't think I had that in me. It wasn't in me. Just being honest, it wasn't in me. That whatever that drive, that go get it. That I don't even know what to describe it. Desire, whatever it is, to make somebody no. Let me go work 3 jobs because I want it that bad. You know what I'm saying? Let me drive 2 hours, an hour and a half, whatever it is, to work each and every day because this job is so good, even though it's the commute is worth, let me do this, you know what I'm saying, just that thing, whatever it is that make people say I gotta have this, I gotta go get this, I gotta pursue this, even if that means sacrificing this, even if that means doing this, and it's something that I don't want to do, but I'm gonna do it because I want this, I want it that bad, whatever that is. I didn't have that spark, that light, that energy, that wave, whatever you want to call it. I did not have it. So when it came time to put in the work, when it came time to put in the work at a certain level, like I feel like everybody can give you a minimum level effort. But when it was time to start going past that minimum effort, when it was time to go past that minimum sacrifice, when it was time to go past that minimum, you know what I'm saying, requirement, that's where every single time I would just fall off and I would be looking at everyone else but myself. I was never looking at DJ. I was never like, damn, it's me. Damn, I'm not, I don't think I want it that bad. I don't think you know what I'm saying? It was never that. I never thought about that. The only time that I would think about that, like I said, is if I'm watching an interview and somebody's talking about I was willing to do this or I did this for 3 years You know what I'm saying? I was working those three jobs for threes. I did that for 3 years trying to get my music off the ground. I did that for 3 years trying to do this, do that. And it was just like in those particular moments, it would click in my head, okay, I don't want it bad enough. But then after that, I would go back into blaming everything else but myself. And now that I'm way more self aware and my eyes have been opened up a lot more to where I'm not just looking at what everybody else may have done wrong or where everybody else may have fallen. I can also, and more importantly, look at myself. Where did I go wrong? Where did I fall off? Where did I um, fall short? Where did I stop? Where did my ambitions and all of that stop? Where did I go wrong? And so that was like a big important thing for me. And so that's just where my mindset now has changed from my mindset back then. I understand that I got to work, and I understand it may be years before I see any profit from my work, any success from my work. And I have to be okay with that. But I'm going in understanding that and understanding I have to be the one to put in that work. I have to be the one to sacrifice. I have to be the one to take this seriously, if I want to be successful at anything that I'm trying to do. I don't just mean the podcast. I mean, if I want a successful relationship, I know I need to put in the work to make that happen. If I want a better job, if I want to move to a bigger city with more opportunities, I know I need to put in the work, the energy, the effort to make those things happen. Everything that I want, I have to work to get. I can't sit here, just living life, letting life pass me by, just hoping and praying that a ready-made situation will just fall into my lap. That's unrealistic. I think that that's where I hurt myself. I know that's where I hurt myself in the past, is because I wanted something ready-made to fall into my lap. I wasn't thinking about building my own situation from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? I wanted something that was already made to fall into my lap. Whereas now I don't mind putting in the groundwork to build my own situation the way I want it. You know what I'm saying? Starting on ground level and building it the way I want it to be. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind putting that work in. And that's just where my mentality has changed from where I was before. Because again, before I just wanted it to already be done, already be ready for success. And I just wanted to be that last little piece to get it over the top, get the situation over the top. Whereas now it's like, no, I'm okay with starting with that blank canvas and painting my own perfect picture, as opposed to being that last little paint stroke to make it a masterpiece. I don't mind taking it from a blank canvas to a masterpiece and doing it all by myself, or doing most of it by myself, and understanding that I have to be the one putting in the work. I have to be the one showing people that I'm willing to work. You can believe in me. You can trust in me. Even when times are hard, I'm not giving up. I'm not going to stop going. I'm going to keep going until I see my dreams happen. And I have to get them to believe that, so that they're willing to invest in me. But I understand that that takes me showing them. I can't just talk about it. I have to show. I mean, because I have years and years of talking about things, and you know what I'm saying, I'm a great talker. I can make some things sound convincing, but it's about showing people. You know what I'm saying? I got to prove to people over time that this is me, and I understand. I've left a lot of bad taste in people's mouths about with my bad work habits, my bad work ethic, especially when it comes to personal projects. Because even though earlier I did say, hey, there are times when, I might be walking fast just to make it look like I'm working, but trust me, I'm still putting in work. I'm still doing what I have to do. I'm still getting my job done at a high level. It's just I never could get that work ethic to translate into my personal life. You know what I'm saying? I never could get, as hard as I would work for a company, I was never really willing to work that hard for my personal goals and my personal dreams. You know what I'm saying? So I really had a worker's mentality. I really was just trying to work hard, move up in the company, try to come up that way, as opposed to putting in the work and making my dreams happen for myself. That wasn't really something that I was focused on doing or trying to do. And now it's something that I want for myself. It's something that I am focused on doing and trying to do now. I'm trying to make my dreams, my goals happen. And I'm trying to put in the work, and I'm going to put in the work to do it myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to transition my work mentality at work. I'm trying to get it to transition into my personal life because, you know, like I've said before, you know what I'm saying? We work so hard on these jobs. We give those 8 hours. And I'm not, and again, I don't know everybody, and I know that everybody ain't giving max effort, but I know you giving enough effort to get through your day. And then we'll come home and we'll give our mentality, and our dreams, no effort whatsoever. And I did that for years. And like I've said before on the show, the job that I had before the job that I have now, it broke me. It broke me because I was just so tired of being lied to. I was just so tired of being frustrated and disappointed because, I came in with the expectation of working a certain job. And then when I wasn't working and I was constantly being lied to, I was just so frustrated. It just got me to a point to where, why am I being this frustrated? Why am I working this hard for other people company, for a company that has someone else's name, and I'm not willing to do the same thing for myself? I'm not willing to put that same energy in for myself. I don't care enough about what I want and my goals to put that same energy in to what I want to do. And so, like I said, I can just be, it broke me. But I'm glad that it happened. I'm glad that I went through it. I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for the person. Even though I don't care for him as a person, I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful to him, and if I ever give a chance to see him, I will tell him thank you for putting me through that and pushing me to get to the point to where I got serious about doing the videos. I got serious about doing my podcast. I got serious about taking myself seriously enough to where I'm legit putting in the work to do what I need to do to get to where I want to be. And even though doors haven't started to open up yet, and even though, I haven't started to see success from any of it yet, I've started to see a mental shift. I've started to see how I'm willing to work, in my personal life and for my personal goals, my personal dreams, my aspirations, what I want to do. I'm seeing a new mentality. I'm seeing a new person start to break through that outer shell of who I used to be. And so I know it may not mean much to the people to y'all listening, but for me, I am so thankful and I'm so happy and I'm so blessed to be going through this metamorphosis that I'm going through, and I'm turning into a better version, a way better version of myself. You know what I'm saying? And even the version that I'm turning into isn't my end goal. I want to continue growing and continue getting better, but I do understand that that I have to go through the process and that there's stages. And I'm happy to see where I was just stage zero, ground zero, and I'm getting finally moving up to stage one. I'm finally starting to grow into a person who truly believes in himself, truly believes in his visions, truly believes in his goals, and he's more importantly, he's willing to work to make these goals happen. And I'm starting to see that with myself. I'm starting to see, you know what I'm saying, me wanting things for myself. I'm starting to see me, instead of just chilling, personal time, I'm starting to figure some things out. I'm starting to write things. I'm starting to read more. Um I'm starting to envision things, and I'm starting to believe in myself and believe in my visions and believe in the things that I want. So there's definitely a change. There's a lot of work going on within me, on the inside of me. So, you know what I'm saying? Because again, I got a lot of bad habits. I know I've talked about my bad habits enough on this podcast, but y'all don't know I have a lot of bad habits. But it's work going on the inside that I'm doing consciously and subconsciously. And, it's the work that's going on to get me to becoming a better person, to becoming a better version of myself, to getting rid of these bad habits that I've developed over the years. But again, going back to that post is work. You know what I'm saying? I am putting the work in. I understand that if I stop doing the work, I'm just going to go back to who I was, who I've always been. I have to put this work in to make these real changes in my life and to make these real changes in my mentality and to my personality. I have to put this real work in to keep that, what I'm saying? Not just to get to that point, but to stay at that point and then go beyond that point. You know what I'm saying? There's so much work that goes into it. And I'm done running from it. I'm done running from the work because I understand, just like with my comfort zone, I understand what's there. I understand what's waiting on me if I stop doing the work or if I run from the work. I understand. It's just a lot. It's just so much more of what I've already been through. I don't know what's waiting on the other side of doing all of this work, completing the journey, not giving up, breaking past whatever ceilings I may have subconsciously made for myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's there because these are things that I didn't do. These are things when I come to those roadblocks, I would just stop. I would give up. I would say, okay, I've done enough. I've done everything that I possibly can do, which couldn't have been further from the truth. But you tell yourself what you need to tell yourself to make you feel good about your decision to quit. So now I'm trying to get rid of whatever quit is left in me. I'm trying to get rid of it so that way there is no quit for me. There is no world where I'm not making my dreams, my goals, my inspirations happen. And so, but also, like I said, it's just work. So, to sum up the episode of the day is don't be afraid of the work. There's work in everything, whether it's working to achieve your happiness, working to achieve your peace, working to achieve your goals, your dreams, your perfect relationship, healthy communication, anything that you want, that promotion, that dream job, whatever it is, it's work involved in everything. So there's no point in running from the work. Just do the work, do what you need to do to get to where you need to be, but understand that there is work in everything, every piece of life, every goal, every dream, every aspiration. There's work involved in it. So quit running from the work, go get it done, go do what you need to do to get to where you need to be. And and to be successful, the work has to happen. You got to put the work in to be successful. There's no way around that. I don't care, even if you do come into a situation where it's a ready-made situation, you're just the last piece. At some point you're going to have to pick up your piece of whatever's going on to help make it work. It just has to happen. You have to, there's no running from the work forever. You're going to have to do the work. So, you know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and get in there and do what you need to do. But I want to say thank you to everybody listening on whatever platforms you're listening on. And I also want to thank everybody watching on YouTube. Y'all already know, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And let's continue growing. And I hope y'all have a blessed day.